Okay, yeah. So the first of all, I'd like to thank you, all of our community members, for having here. You can invite your friends and family to learn more about the Immobilium, which is a comprehensive real estate trading and also investment platform, which allows users to purchase the properties or invest in fractional ownership in a matter of like against the minutes, and also bypassing traditionally long screw times and so forth. And here is our honorable guest today, like to discuss everything about the Immobilium, Nina and also Sim. So could you please introduce yourself one by one? The first one is Nina. You can go first. Like, how do you connect this project?
Thank you. I'm Nanad. I'm co-founder of Immobilium, a unique ecosystem that is aimed at allowing users to transact in high-value asset-to-asset transactions. We started off by using Immobilium as the utility token for our real estate platform, but as we develop the ecosystem, we have added other users and use cases for our token. And off my floor goes to my partner, my co-founder.
Yeah, my name is Sasha. It's not Sim, this is Sasha Immobilium. That's why I made it a little bit shorter. I'm Sasha Poporik. I'm actually logging in out of Los Angeles, California, and partner of Nanad. We started this idea more from a tech perspective to make all transactions, when it comes to any kind of global real estate purchases, much more seamless and easier to actually operate. Real estate, it's the only asset in the world that's actually not allowed, or it's hard to make it based on like one-click purchase, like you would go to Amazon and buy your shoes and getting delivered. So our idea was to create something like that, and actually pretty much did it. We are, compared to most of the projects out there, not something that's coming in a year or two. We are already full functioning, we're operational, and we have presence in 46 countries. We work with 7 global agencies, and so far our network of agencies, I think over 5,000 around the world.
Thank you, sir. Happy to know about yourself and also experience. So like as you mentioned, and also I said already, that is Immobilium platform is a real estate trading and investment platform that is enabling users to like instantly purchase actual properties and also participate in fractional ownership. So could you share actually, like how can people actually participate in this actually, like how can they purchase your properties and also how can they get fractional ownership?
Now, I will talk a little bit more about the fractional ownership. The fractional ownership that is implemented in the Immobilium ecosystem that is applicable in real estate is basically applicable to all other asset classes that can be implemented through our ecosystem. For real estate, one of the biggest challenges in implementing fractional ownership are local legislations, which treat fractional ownership in crypto very much like securities. So we're still in process of launching the fractional ownership in countries where we're present, and we're overcoming obstacles which are regulatory by nature. Technically, we can already roll it out. It's now the moment where we have to pick the right types of properties, match it to the local legislation, and successfully launch on a platform. The abundance of contacts and the infrastructure that is behind us allows us actually to develop this type of projects and to roll them out successfully because of the local presence of our local partners. Meaning there is always somebody who will be looking after the real estate to find leaseholders to rent it so that these properties can generate income to the investors. If it's commercial property, then it's the operator. If it is residential, then it's somebody who leases it. So, but technically, our platform is ready to accept property or other assets that can be tokenized, and then these tokens of this asset can be traded on secondary market. It's important to underline that the token which is being launched on P2B is not the asset-backed token. So it is a token, utility token that you can trade on the platform P2B, but these are not the same tokens that are tied to particular properties. the features allowing you to benefit from our ecosystem are tied to the tokens. Does this help answer your question?
Definitely. Thank you. Thank you for explaining about the fractional ownership and so forth. So, like people, this is very easy to participate in their platform. Like you just need to do a register, like your interest for participation and purchase the token, and also, so this is very easy actually. And also their website link is imbcoin.io. So you can learn from here if you want to learn more actually. So I just want to know, how does your Immobilium ensure the authenticity of the properties listed on its platform?
Can you repeat it?
Can you repeat the question?
Yes, like how does your Immobilium ensure the authenticity of the properties listed on its platform actually?
Basically, every property before it is listed on our platform, it has to be physically and documentally inspected by our local partners. Meaning that if we have a property, let's say in Brazil, our local partners will actually go and visit the property, check the documents, and make sure that property is clean in a way that it can be sold immediately. So only the properties that can be set for sale without liens, without burdens, mortgages, or any problems for the buyer can find their way to the platform. This way, we streamline the process of buying and selling, making sure that the buyers do not engage in a transaction that can be lengthy, because by nature we want to have it a streamlined, simple process. See, click, buy, own the property, yeah? So there is a due diligence process of listing. And that process is done by the local partner. This is why we have so many agents that we work with.
If I may add, when we started this idea, obviously we dig deep into this whole sector of security and transparency. I mean, it's not easy to willingly wire money through any platform and out of Germany buying a property in Japan. I mean, it's almost impossible. Maybe in 5 or 10 or 20 years, but like in today's standards and today's mindset of a seller, of a buyer, of a real estate agents and agency itself, it's almost impossible. And we are pivoting from the get-go. So we realize that we need a human factor here. All these Web3, all these NFT contracts, smart contracts, they're there. But, convincing an old school seller or buyer to just post something online and expecting that someone else is going to wire him the money, it's unbelievable. We can hope that one day this is going to become a routine, but today, especially not. The problems are there is no universal real estate transaction laws. Like if you buy something, as I mentioned, on Amazon, or shoes, and the shoes are coming from America going into like Germany, you understand there is return policy. It's a product that's getting shipped, getting tracked, and getting delivered. If something is wrong, you return at Amazon fulfillment center, you get your money back. Buying a property, that's not a case. I mean, because each of the country has their own rules and regulations. So what we did, we realized we cannot disrupt the system. We have to adapt towards all the local rules and regulations. One country has certain ways of buying property versus the other. For example, buying a property in America, it's easy as possible. But buying a property, let's say in Switzerland, you have to be Swiss resident or citizen to actually buy this property. I'm not even going to go into any other countries that work with their own laws, places like island of Zanzibar, which is part of Tanzania. It scares the bejesus in anyone buyer's idea of buying a property over there. But it's so controversial because actually it's much easier than it's said. So for those reasons, we actually opened all our hubs, and created partnerships so that we can make it easier for any buyer attempting to buy a property outside of their region to make it more secure. Usually the way it works, you never wake up one day and say, I'm going to go now Google a property in the Dominican Republic and buy me one house. You probably actually go and visit the location. You'll love it there. You're for 2 weeks. And then you say, okay, I want to move over there. So what's the next step? Once you go back home, regardless where you're at, you then realize it's not as easy as you think. You realize that like there's no escrow in every single country. Like USA has an escrow system that you must secure. Other countries don't. Like buying properties in Montenegro, you have to actually send it to something between a lawyer and a notary public that actually holds your money. So all those red flags prevent international buyers to buy properties outside of their jurisdiction. And that those actually are about 90% downfalls of someone willingly buying a properties outside of the country, outside of the region. So whatever Ned said, for those reasons, we created hubs, posts, partnership, collaborators, and we provided a platform as a tool to make it much easier, much more secure conducting with properties, conducting financial investment, tax laws, and as he mentioned, like fractional ownerships.
Okay, yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you for describing everything in a whole, actually. So I think anyone can join their community and anyone can make trade on this. So, would you share, are there any specific criteria properties must meet to list it on Immobilium, or anyone can join?
Well, we're trying to build a community of buyers and sellers which are of certain level of vetting. So in our streamlined process, we start by KYCing both buyer and seller. This means that the persons need to be approved KYC-wise. They need to have, we have a third-party service provider who vets all the incoming and incoming contacts. And in real estate, it's also very important to conduct the AML, anti-money laundering survey, meaning that you need to identify and make sure that a person who is buying the real estate is buying it from legal sources. Now, all of these things are integrated in the platform, which means that if you don't jump through all the hoops, you cannot transact, meaning that we are only putting on platform the real estate, which is clean, by people who can basically show the background of how they acquired the property, and the people who have shown how they can buy the property. And this way, we create a circle of trust of everybody involved, meaning that you know who you're selling it to, you know who you're buying it from, but it also means that the person who is buying actually has the money to buy it. It's also important to underline that we are enabling on our platform, we have enabled, it's not in future, it's already now. You can buy with crypto, with 6 different cryptocurrencies, the major ones. You can pay in international currencies, and it's all integrated in the same process. So to answer your question in short, yes, there is both KYC and AML process integrated in this asset-to-asset transaction. So anybody with a clean, good record, with good intent, and who can pass KYC and AML can participate in our platform.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So this, guys, you just need to do a little, I can say, very easy KYC process. So don't forget this, and also if you have any question, you can ask. So, sir, I'm in your website right now. I can see you're giving some airdrop events about your token, that is IMB. Could you share some benefits about your token, actually, like holders benefit, and also where can people currently buy, and everything about your token?
Basically, the Immobilium token is a utility token that allows you to have certain benefits on our platform. The key benefit is, well, how the platform lives is basically whenever there is a transaction, there is a fee being paid to Immobilium. Now, you can slash this fee if you hold a certain amount of Immobilium tokens. You can read about this in our white paper, so I won't bother you with all the details, but the token is the instrument which allows you to slash your fees, list the properties, promote the properties, see off-market properties. For example, if there is a celebrity seller, he maybe doesn't want everybody in a group to know that he's selling his nice Malibu house, but only those who are pre-vetted by having staked certain amount of tokens and that are holders. Usually these will be the real estate agents looking after this kind of deals. So they will know in advance that yes, they need to hold certain number of tokens so that they can see a certain property. What is new, and this is as we speak, our team is working to add this on our platform as well, are different AI-based services, which will be, again, payable. But if you hold a certain number of tokens, you can slash the fees. So, for example, we're working on an AI-assisted system that will allow agents to contact many buyers or sellers, and that service costs a certain amount of money. But if you have Immobilium tokens, it will be cheaper for you to execute this service. So basically, Immobilium token is something that you will use in our ecosystem to work, to develop your activities, to buy, sell, but also the fact that it is limited in supply, there is only 10 billion tokens around. Once they're all distributed, we believe that the demand for the services, as the demand for real services grows, the demand for token will grow, and this is where the market will be finding its equilibrium over time, up and up.
I would just like to add stuff to Ned's explanations. They're already functioning, so as we mentioned, and things are working well. You know, we're waiting for real estate market to turn around, for interest rates and for like inflation to kind of go down, and then we are pretty much sure we're going to be the major tool for any kind of buyers, because it's not just all these incentives that we're giving to an agent, which we are going to offboard in the next 3 months over 100,000 agents, which means every single agent is pretty much going to stake and hold the coin in order to operate. That's going to give the coin such a significant amount of value. You know, they either can go like and buy the coin to work through the platform, or they're going to have to actually just hold it and have all these advantages. But what else we have, in our so to say like little box is we understand that down the road, and that's not like a years from now, 3, 6 months, a year from now, this whole crypto blockchain market will get regulated. I mean, anyone thinking it's not going to happen is delusional. And us being part of the real estate industry, we are very, very cautious, and we focusing on all those regulations to happen. Once they happen, other utilities are going to get activated. So they're already built in stuff like crypto mortgages. Like we're going to offer mortgages to any kind of buyer or seller, by taking crypto from not just those buyers and sellers, but individuals like potentially you guys. So which means it's going to raise the value in a coin. Another thing is that we are going to offer, it's like peer-to-peer lending system that which is very very popular method of lending money in America, especially like private sector lending. So if you go to a bank and you try to get a mortgage for, let's say, $1 million, which is in America pretty much a common thing, the bank is going to give you the most 20% on that property. But the point is, like, they're going to ask you a zillion questions. You're going to have X amount, of yearly salary. Your credit score has to be impeccable. I mean, they're going to go through the roof with you, figuring out if they can lend you, $1 million loan to buy a house. And that's all because banks are FDIC insured. So they have their own protocols that forbids them, regardless of your capability of paying a loan, to actually issue $1 million loan. Private sector is thriving in America. Most of these hard money loans are actually something that dominates for the past couple of years since this whole, credit crunch happened. So for those reasons, we're creating our own services that, like, if someone is in Japan and wants to lend the money to someone in, let's say, Greece, and they don't even know each other, it's irrelevant. Through Immobilium, we're going to offer this peer-to-peer lending as well system. They're going to negotiate between themselves what the interest rates it's going to be. And like Immobilium as a holder is going to hold the lien on the title and everything else. This is where the segment of Immobilium becoming another point of security, which we have here called like something called a Carfax, which, you know, when you go to any kind of dealership to buy a car, you look a report if the car went through accidents, how many owners it had, you know, if the title is clean. Immobilium is going to have that. So adding to Nenad's conversation, like any property, purchasing it in your local region is going to be easier to buy because you can knock on a door. But buying something overseas, you know, you cannot just trust, you know, the seller's, you know, confirmation inspection. You know, we're going to work with the local institutions to do that. And speaking of regulations, you know, we are looking forward them to happen, because what we are going to offer, it's some kind of soft or safe agreements that like every single coin holder, it's going to have percent of whole Immobilium platform operation. So we're going to give extra amount of like a certain amount of company dividends towards the coin holders. So since those are security issues and we cannot activate them now, we'll be more than happy to actually have the regulation. So whoever holds the coin is actually going to see the value of the coin driving by having more and more transactions done through our company and through our hubs around the world.
Okay, yeah, thank you, sir. I think we explained everything. And also, guys, there is a good news, like they're in the P2B right now, P2B exchanges. And also they're trading open, I think, from today. And also you can make withdrawal from like tomorrow, actually, in the P2B. So congratulations on this, sir. Thank you for. So like you explained, as I mentioning about your complaints and security. So I just want to know more about like what measures does your Immobilium take to ensure the compliance with the real estate regulation across different jurisdictions? Like, could you share more a bit?
Well, the real estate regulations, as you mentioned, they're different in all of the countries. But this is why it's important to work with local counterparts who help us adjust the local regulations and local legal system to the framework of Immobilium and adjust different aspects of it. So, yeah, basically we overcame that by working closely with local partners. And local partners are always people that we got to know. So it's not somebody we randomly pick from the internet to do things, but actually people that we can work with and the people that we know, that we can trust, that yes, they have been to see that building, they have inspected that, they have looked at the papers and made sure that when it's listed on the platform, it's a legit real property.
International properties, international buyers are happening every single day. So we didn't discover plutonium by accident, so to say. You know, it's just much harder. There are so many case studies that we did, and based on those case studies, throughout, you know, friendly agents, partners, and stuff like that, we had to correct this whole system and pivot in many aspects how to make it easier. I mean, and mentioning agents as well, we understand that the technology is just evolving so fast. And, you know, just 10 years ago, 5 years ago, we have this thing in America called DocuSign, which is like digital way of signing signature. Like, I would have never thought in my life that I'm going to sign any kind of document. Is it legal? Is it like, you know, anything, you know, based on an email, click here and do that? Now it's all over everywhere. It's all over the place. But just this conversation that's happening 2 hours ago, I was walking my dog. Now I'm sitting, you know, in my little office and communicating. Like 5 years ago, I would never, you know, even imagine sitting in front of like investors like you guys and trying to explain them what we actually do. So technology is changing, and Immobilium, it's not just for agencies and real estate agents. It's for what we have here called FISB, like for sale by owner, for regular Joe, that you don't have to be an agent. You don't need an agent. If you're tax savvy and you know how to take a picture of your house, if you know how to take a video of your house, if you know that, like, depending on a country, let's say in America, hypothetically, inspection is like pretty much a mandatory. You know, some countries are not. Like, if you know how to call a house inspector to do inspection, how to go into a city hall, get all the documents, they are then, like, you know, digitized and put in our blockchain as in our ledger. If you know how to do that, you can do it yourself. You don't need an agent. You don't need to pay a commission of 2, 3, 5%, 10% in certain countries to actually sell the properties. So for those reasons, we are making it much more accessible to whoever wants to sell or buy the property. But us being a middleman, us working between, you know, you as a buyer and a potential seller in Austria, gives assurance and makes us almost as an eBay for real estate, so to say. Because generally speaking, you can go on eBay and, you know, even if you know each other, if two parties know each other, you want to buy a bike from each other, you can say, you know what, let's bypass the eBay. What, send me the bike? And the seller is going to say, or the buyer, you know what, that's all okay, but I don't know you that well. I want to have an eBay protecting this whole process of transaction. So if something goes wrong, you know, I'm going to go and knock on eBay's eye. And this is what we are slowly becoming when it comes to real estate transactions, real estate sector. And, you know, adding to Nenad's conversation a little bit, you know, we are the only platform in actually out there that we have, so to say, asset-to-asset transaction. You can literally have Bitcoin in your MetaMask, and you can buy the property through our system, through our technology, where actually the seller gets fiat, gets dollar or euros, because otherwise you would have to go sell your $1 billion worth of Bitcoin through Coinbase, Binance, P2B, any other exchange. You know, it would take you a certain amount of time to do that. You cannot just go and sell $1 million worth of Bitcoin and have it in your wallet. It would take you a certain amount of time. Through us, you know, we automatically convert crypto, and 48 hours later, the seller receives the fiat or the, you know, currency of its exchange. So that's much more than we can actually really advertise at this point.
Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you. I saw like people are waiting. They raised their hands already. So I'll take question now, guys. Just one more question I have right now. Like, what is your future development plan right now? As far I know, that you have made your project for the long term, actually, as far I know. So, what is your future plan for now in 2024 and also after that?
Can I please ask you to repeat the question? I didn't hear
what is your future plan actually, like in 2024 and also after that, according to your roadmap?
The most important thing is to go mainstream on basically asset-to-asset transaction, making Immobilium a token of choice for people who engage in asset-to-asset transaction and in fractional ownership of assets. And to broaden the user base, to distribute the coins to the users who will use it in their everyday business, everyday life, and to become, let's say, the trademark of all asset-to-asset large ticket transactions and fractional ownership. How we're going to do this? Well, first, by listing on more exchanges, by engaging more and more agents who are involved in real estate. We also have a working platform for trading of yachts, so the boats, the big boats. And again, you have agents who trade boats involved. Next thing, jets, arts, jewelry. Again, a lot of high-ticket asset classes that are engaging agents. And again, agents, buyers, sellers, holders of token, they want to have it because they will do something with it. They will reduce their fees. They'll be able to list their assets. And there's actually a real use case scenario for the tokens. And we deliberately decided to keep them limited. They cannot be minted more of them or burned. So there's a fixed asset size that will be distributed between the users. The sooner we can do it all together, the sooner we can see the token picking up really quickly. So after the listing on P2B, there's plan to list on more exchanges and basically go global, that whenever you think there is a big asset class to transact, there is a Mobilium coin behind it. And yeah, you can be part of it. Now it's easy. Maybe not so easy in the future.
We actually, you know, our main idea was never let's list a coin, you know, first. We build a platform, we build the network, and now we say, you know, there is probably need for us to, you know, offer it to the public. But what I'm trying to say, when we just look back in our map, you know, last year in 2023 or end of 2022, we anticipated to have partnership in being in few countries by April, like maybe 4 or 5. In a matter of 6-7 months, we end up being already in 30 countries. Now we're in 46. It's so easy for us to establish partnership, which are a key role to all what we do, because people see us from one end as an amazing tool, or from the other side, they see us as this security and like transparency between a buyer and a seller that's outside of that reach. And, you know, by adding all these assets, as Nenad said, the ecosystem that we have built can be literally just, you know, copied and paste, and, you know, into like more other movable parts, from fine art through yachts, through all these things that he said. You know, we can tokenize anything. We're not going to go a spread thin. Real estate market was the most secure. You know, there is no this thing like, oh, you know, it arrived broken. So like if you sell somebody any other product, we understand how rules work. Our partnerships are solid, and our goal this year to add more hubs and partnerships. We think by the end of this year we'll be close to probably like 80 or 90 countries, and you know, and would establish more than 100 to 150,000 agents being part of our network.
And just one more thing to wrap it up. Real estate is the largest asset class and largest accumulation of wealth in the world. And at the same time, it is the least liquid class, meaning that it takes you longest time to liquidate, to turn your asset, your house, your property, your hotel, your office into cash. What we're doing is we're shortening this process and making sure that you can liquidate asset, which is very liquid, very fast. Now, this is the biggest change we're delivering through our ecosystem. So, as Sasha said, there will be other asset classes, boats. You know, when the boat owner is the most happiest guy in the world 2 times. First time when he buys a boat, second time when he sells the boat. And again, it's an asset class that is not so liquid. So by working on these specific asset classes, which are high value, low liquidity, solving this problem, this is what our ecosystem does, and this is why our token is useful.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you for this. So I think we can take some question. Jaffer, are you there? Hey, Jaffer.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Ask a question,
Hello?
please.
You can hear me, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. How does the worldwide events the app work, and what are some of the surprises and rewards participants can expect?
Well, I would say that you don't go buying our token expecting certain rewards. You buy it because you want to use it, or you buy it because you expect when it becomes scarce, meaning there's less of these tokens around, the prices go up. Now, I will give you one example how you can practically use the token on a real market. Basically, let's say that you're buying a property that you expect to pay a commission of, let's say, $10,000. Now, your commission will be $5,000 if you have enough tokens. So you can borrow the tokens, do the transaction, pay less fee, and return the tokens to the guy you borrowed it from for a small fee. So this is kind of a simple model how you can benefit by holding tokens. By holding tokens, you can actually list the property. You can promote a property. You can, as I mentioned, see the properties which are off market. Or you can use the token to slash your fees on different AI services that will be made available through our platform. So this is not a token that if you thought you're going to buy it today for 1 cent and you will sell it for $1 tomorrow, like, don't do that. Don't. It's not that it's not that game. We come from a real estate sector. We come from a traditional industries, and we see our growth gradual through the expansion and real use of services. So if you want to have real benefit, buy some tokens, list some properties, buy, sell something, make some money, and this is the benefit.
Yeah, it's if I may add, what just Nenad said, it's like what I mentioned before. When everything works out well, holding a token is going to increase in value by us offering, offering profit margins, like offering if company is going to work. We're going to actually offer the holders. When everything works out well with all these regulations, if we can, we're going to offer the holders percentages of the company, percentages of revenue shares, whatever the company makes, something like called SAFT or SAFE agreements. So, and we understand once the regulations happen, and I'm really sorry to mention this thing all the time, but it's inevitable. Probably 90% of the coins are disappear, or they will be useless, or they will be not tradable. We are attached to a real estate. We are attached to something that's the world economy is based on. And our tools and our, we partner up with this company now called Revi. They're doing amazing AI tools that it's going to be so easy for everyone to buy and sell property. It's going to be so easy to actually reach customer base because, there is alone in California, 400,000 agents, 2 million agents around America. They all are suffering now, because of all this market being. The moment the market starts turning around, they're going to grab for any kind of tools to start getting international buyers and buyers who are out there reach. So in order for them to do that, they have to have a token. They have to buy the coin. I'm adding net. I don't think we'll ever be $1, but our projections are between 8 to 20 cents, sometimes in the next 12 months. But once those 8 to 12 cents happen, they are stabilized. This is not something that's going to go up and down. That's why we are very specific, how this whole company actually works and how much we have established in just, under 2 years.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. I really get it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So the next one is, I can see here is John Sain. Hey, John Sain.
Hello, guys. How's it going?
Ask your question, please.
Firstly, thank you for the magnificent project. Can I ask one question?
Yes, sure.
Ask your question.
My question is, what sets Worldwide talking apart from the other crypto-century projects, especially in terms of community engagement and development support?
Can you just repeat the last part of the question, please?
Yeah, sure. What sets Worldwide talking apart from other crypto-century projects, especially in terms of community engagement and development support?
Yeah, well, you see, if you look at all different types of tokens in crypto market, there is just, I think, dozen or so tokens that deal with real estate. And from those dozen or so tokens that deal with real estate, there is only one token that is actually attached to a working platform, allowing users to transact. So if you go there and log in and pass KYC, pass KML, see the property you like, you can actually use your Bitcoin to buy a property in Greece or in I don't know, Switzerland, you need to be Swiss citizen, but in California or in other countries. So this is already working. Now, growing community of agents, professional users, mixed with enthusiasts and possible future real estate buyers and holders, this is what we're aiming for in a whole community kind of profile. I hope I understood your question correctly, because that determines how well my answer is structured to what you asked.
Okay, thank you guys for the greatest project ever.
Yep.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So the next one is Ramos. Hey, Ramos. Hey, Ramos, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me take another one. Okay, so I can see a lot of people actually there. So the Cloudily. Hey, Cloudily, are you there?
I think I saw a few hands up, but maybe we missed them.
Okay, just wait a bit.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you are. Ask your question, please.
Okay, please. I want to ask concerning your IMB tokens. Is there a specific amount of token of IMB token one needs to have before purchasing anything or purchasing a property?
You can buy property even holding one IMB token, but then you don't get the discounts on transactions. There is no limit how low your token holding needs to be, but the more tokens you hold, the more benefits you have in real life transactions. And of course, the more tokens you have, the more tokens you will be able to borrow somebody to do the transaction. And maybe you, not maybe, but you should earn some interest on your tokens that you borrowed.
Hello
Of course,
guys, how are you doing?
and
Can
to
I
list the
ask my
property,
question, please?
you need the tokens as well. And Ramos is back in the game. Let's hear Ramos, your question.
Yeah, Ramos, ask the question.
What strategies have you implemented to ensure long-term success and sustainability for your project?
The sustainability of the token demand is based on the services and the demand that is behind the ecosystem. So as long as there are people interested in buying and selling properties, interested in doing any asset to asset or high ticket transactions, there is bound to be a demand for the token. And what we like is that our token demand is based on actually use. The more users we have, the more sustainability there is, the more services we can offer to the market through the platform and through the ecosystem, the more demand there will be. So it is kind of self-fulfilling prophecy. But for it to be successful, we together as a community need to play a role, meaning that we need to buy, hold tokens, we need to transact, we need to be active, get everybody else involved, talk to your friend who's maybe an agent in real estate in your country and say, hey, have you heard about Immobilium? Have a look at it, see what you can do. Can you put your properties there? Maybe find a buyer. So all these things are propping up the community and propping up sustainability of the whole ecosystem. Does it help answer your question?
As Nenad has said, this whole structure is based on people realizing there is maybe total of 10 real estate blockchain crypto projects in the market. And to be honest with you, most of them, if not all of them, are based on Web3 or NFT smart contracts, stuff like that, more digitized. We are the only actually, so to say, an analog real estate blockchain concept by creating the infrastructure around it, by creating a network, by creating individual agents joining our platform because of all those benefits. And just to add another aspect of staking and holding a coin, we had some of the agents, they actually did purchase through our property from Canary Islands in Spain all the way through Brazil. To make long story short, the commission of this, you understand, when you buy a property, there is always a commission, like 1, 2, 5, 10%. So the commission was paid out to these agents. And when we asked them, how do you want us to actually wire you the money, send you the money? They said, can we keep the coins instead? And I was like, hold on a second, what? And there's like, you know what? I'd rather have the coins instead of dollars because the coin can jump in a value. So that alone gives us idea that agents once we start transacting with commission-based payouts, are rather going to hold the coin in Immobilium wallets than actually cash out and pay taxes in dollars or do whatever they have to do wherever they are. And that alone is going to give us additional aspect of staking and making it easier to transfer, to grow in a value.
Yeah, thank you, Ramos, for your question. The next one is, I can see here, Casidro, I think. Are you there, Anthony Castro? Anthony Castro, are you there? Okay, I think there is some kind of mic problem. So, I think we are enough for now. Like, we covered everything. So if people have any
Hey
questions,
guys, I
they can
have a
ask
question
in your
here.
comment. Okay, yeah. Ask your question, Anthony.
Go ahead, Anthony.
Anthony.
Guys, I want to know, maybe you guys has an this marketplace where buy your token holders use your tokens to purchase your NFT or use a token like Ethereum instead.
Well, see, if I understood your question correctly, you're asking if there is any relationship between NFTs and our tokens, right?
I think so, actually.
Basically, we at Immobilium, you can see that we use the technology in a way that it helps enhance real-life processes and solve problems. So when we talk about using blockchain as an instrument to keep data about transactions, about details, this is because that type of data collection and data systematization and protection is actually good for real estate. So we stayed away from NFT until, and I think we still cannot find the actual real use case value in our ecosystem for NFTs. So we don't go by the hype. If there's a hype about NFT and we cannot use it, we just stay away from it. One could say that there's a hype of some time until we figure out what would be the best use of AI in our ecosystem. And we discovered it. It was to enable agents to conduct more communication, AI assisted. It was use the AI to find the ideal property. So we go for technology that can help solve particular problems in our ecosystem, and not because it's a hype word that everybody's using. So as new technologies develop and come along, you can count on Immobilium being there when this technology can improve the processes that our ecosystem support. For real estate, for transactions, we don't know what kind of relationship will be coming out of this ecosystem, but you can rest assured that only the technologies that can have value and that can add value to the process will be implemented in Immobilium.
Yeah, thank you, Anthony. Hope that you got your answer. So, sir, we need to wrap this session right now, actually. So, anything else, like any important news that you wanted to share with us before wrapping this session, or anything else? Hey, sir.
Any more questions?
Not really. Like I asked, we need to wrap up this session right now, actually. So as we got our desired winners, and also we covered everything. But before wrapping this session, do you have anything else that you want to share? Any important news?
Sasha, I think we had a good conversation. I like the questions, and let's touch base again up in the front.
I am actually thankful to you guys from P2B that you allowed us to kind of explain what we do. As said, we are not a fantasy project. We are fully operational, transactional, funded, expanding. I don't want to sound arrogant, but how we are moving forward, like we probably be bigger than Remax, in the next year or so. We can actually have positions in every single country, and we'll make it so seamless for you to buy the property. I always say, and I'm not like Amazon fan or something like that, but the closest to our idea, it's combination between eBay and Amazon for real estate. The only asset in the world, as Nenad said, is not accessible to be purchased so fast. It's real estate, and it has to be modernized, and it has to be done, faster, and it has to be allowed for like a regular Joe, a regular buyer, to use platform and not run into every single agency and try to say, help me out. So we are providing all those tools. We are providing all the securities to do that, and we're guaranteeing the process.
Thank you, sir. Happy to be here, actually, and also thank you. I can say it was really amazing session actually with you, and keep building for the future. And also thank you all of our community members actually. And I see if you have any more questions, queries, just go to their Telegram and other social media you can ask there. So, sir, thank you once again for having here in our community.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great evening or great day wherever you go.
Great weekend, guys. Hello from California.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Bye.